Welcome everybody to the closing event of the 2025 World Sanskrit Day celebration. We've had an amazing weekend of so many interesting topics. And we're going to start this panel discussion, audience discussion, with our three invocations. Let's Om 3 times together and then do the 3 invocations, which are Om Shri Ganeshaya Namah, Om Shri Saraswatyaya Namah, and Om Namo or Om Shri Gurave Namaha. For that last line, you can choose whatever you want, Namo or Shri. Together. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyaya Om Namo. Om Namo Gurave Namaha. Again. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyaya Namaha. Om Namo Gurave Namaha. One more time. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyaya Namaha. Om Namo Gurave Namaha. Let's sit for a moment and feel that. So all weekend we've been talking in various ways about unity. I love Dave Aine's projection on that unity just chains us down in the Sanskrit world of some verses. Not too many verses on hope, actually. We're talking about unity, hope in Sanskrit, right? I thought that was kind of neat. Suzanne was great. I thought she brought a lot to the table in her Devi worship, talking. I thought Manorama was really amazing. She did really well in representing Guruji, certainly as a young child who came here. And that, of course, was great. Trying to go through the days and remember who did what. But let's see, where are we? Did I hit David? Oh, Mitta, sure, thank you. Brought us Panini grammar, and she was lovely. Naren was fantastic in his scientific approach, including the verb gum, which I think is fantastic. Girija and I did a lot on sound, and Girija brought that chakra chanting, which was pretty powerful. And Anna, your presentation was off the board. So we want to talk about unity, whatever that might mean to you. I want everybody in the room or out of the room streaming, think about 4 words, just 4 words. Don't even think about it. What 4 words come to you when you think about unity? Everybody. 4 words. Just write them down if you want. We want to talk about everybody's thoughts about unity. And the topic is so broad, I think it's really interesting. And when I first came up with the idea of the theme for unity for this conference, several people contacted me and said, what are you talking about? Why are we going to do that? It's kind of boring. Okay? Well, here we are. We'll see how boring it is. So, jot down or think about 4 words. And part of the unity is just us gathering. That's first. Satsang. It's so important. And when you meditate together, you feel unified. More people show up for meditation, the better. The more unified it feels. You don't even have to discuss what unity is at that point. Who would like to go first? On the panel or in the audience? Whoever's first goes first. Vidya. The light is so bright I can hardly see. Everybody's going to have to do this, so get ready. We're not leaving anybody out.
No. Remember, whenever I get in front of a mic, I think of Elvis. Right? You know Elvis Presley? Anyway, he likes to sing A Hunger Burning Love. Anyway, jokes aside. So when I think of unity, I think of togetherness. I think of oneness, satsang, and cooperation and peace, which are all the things that Guruji mentions over and over again in his writings. And his writings are the teachings that we need to carry forward in our hearts. That's all I have to say.
Beautiful, thank you so much. I love that cooperation part. I can feel Giri just going next.
You asked for 4 words, so I only have one.
One's good.
The word is flock.
Flock, cool. You want to tell us a little bit about the flock? What that means to you?
It's slightly more intuitive than thought out.
That's great.
But I could do like the reverse engineering of the thinking.
Intuitive is great.
In the notion of a flock, I guess there's like a sense of gathering, and like birds, they go off their own way and then they come together, and that makes me think that one of the things that I love so much about the ashram is how comfortable it is to be in community and then go do your own thing and come back to community. That is actually the way the birds sort of fly. They go.
So when you leave to go to New York City and then you come back, what do you feel when you step on the ground?
Oh, I wasn't thinking about that much leaving. I was just thinking about the tiniest bit of leaving
No,
when I
but
step back on.
what's the feeling of when you get back here? What is that?
That's a feeling.
Got it. Beautiful. Fantastic. So we have cooperation. Vidya brought that. That's wonderful. It has so much meaning. Flock is huge. Anne.
What flock means to me also, isn't there some kind of innate intelligence in how it moves? Because there's such grace and elegance, and they they all know what every one of the parts is doing, but even though they're moving independently, there's this kind of intelligence. Or that's to me when I watch, bird flocks or animals, how they move. There's this. Well, in biology, probably it's it has a name, but anyway, just that kind of innate, or that the sense, intelligence that comes to me when you mention flock. That's what comes to my mind.
Oh, cool.
I had 4 words, but I'm just going to say, so I think diversity, unity, diversity in unity, or unity in diversity, and source came to mind when I thought of unity, because what we're all drinking from, or what is nourishing, the nourishment, the source is the one that everything arises out of, like Naden, presented in his beautiful talk. The number one that everything is arising out of, or the sa, the note sa, that the octave is. So the source is the same, and then we have diversity in unity, or unity in diversity. And that's also the strength of a community like this. The diversity is its strength.
So when you come from Barcelona each summer, and you step right on the ground, the first thing, what hits you? What feeling?
Same.
Like,
The
it's so
moment
good
my
to be
foot-
home.
It's the moment I set foot on the grounds. And I have to say, the nourishment, it's almost a physiological, a physical,
Yeah.
I can sense it.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And so it's not a need to be coming here. It's a sort of, it's abundance, it's replenishment, it's nourishment.
And yesterday you mentioned yearning and longing, and I bet you have some of that before you come.
I do. But it's I carry it with me.
Right.
So it's
Yeah.
maybe a sense of longing, but it's always with me. So.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. I think we need somebody from the audience before Naren goes. Who would that be? Karana, can we ask you to come up?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for organizing and being here. So, about the flock, there's a story in one of Guruji's essays where the birds get caught under a net, and the hunter's net, somehow they get all under the net, and in order to escape, they have to decide all to flap their wings simultaneously to rise up. I forgot the exact essay, but
That's
you
a great.
remember?
Yeah, and I think they spent a while, the birds, discussing how do we get out of here
Oh, that was
before they figured it out.
that they have to all
Work-
simultaneously
Work
to
together.
rise up together, and yeah.
That's a great
So
story, and
you
I
do
got.
need to remember.
I'm getting goosebumps just hearing it because we're here doing that,
Yeah.
rising up, trying to rise up together. Yeah, beautiful.
So when you said the 4 words, and I've tried just to bypass my mind, just what came in first related to unity, and the first thing that came up was resistance. Resistance, and then I wrote down empowerment, love, and togetherness. But resistance is probably the one that, what is our resistance to working together, to having patience, having tolerance for the shortcomings of others, and so on, and for the shortcomings of ourselves. So the impediment.
As you were saying that, Dr. Sharma, in that piece he did here, Om Sahana, in togetherness, and as you were saying that, each part working together in togetherness,
We are
working
protected.
about our resistance in togetherness. All of it. Togetherness is so huge.
Yeah, and resistance is pretty huge also.
Yeah.
And to get to the, within ourselves, within myself, again, I don't know if I made this up, but I say common sense is not so common. It's like, what's common sense to one of us? It's like, well, that's common sense. But another person has another take on it. And in that case, if I think that it's so self-evident, and then you say something else, I judge you, there's a separation. It really takes a lot of self-awareness and patience, and also like realizing, we all have weaknesses, we all have blind spots in one place or another. So humility, a lot of humility. It's, I think it might be a, lifetime work, but I think it is the secret to being able to work together in unity and feel that unity, within, first within and then with others. I think that, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. For those of you who have come in late, sorry about putting my hand up constantly, but it's really hard to see. We're going around the room. Everybody's going to come up at some point and talk about the 4 impressions or 4 words relating to the word unity that they feel. And it's wide open for intuition and all that. So just be ready with your 4 words or 1 word or whatever it is. And your explanation, your feeling in your heart about those things that you want to talk about. Nuden, how about you?
If some of my discussion comes from the lens of being on the management of the ashram, then you'll have to excuse me, because those are the practical realities, at least as long as this is the portal through which we are having this conference. So if my answers are a little more restrictive, that is the reason why. The first word comes to mind is division. What is it that divides us before we start asking us how we can unite? It's a good investigation. J. Krishnamurti said that in order for the fresh air to come in, you got to open your windows and let the stagnation go out. That's where this is coming from. Having investigated what divides, then you investigate what are the common factors, what are our commonalities, because that's what we want to hone upon. There is a reason why people come to the ashram, and it is good to encourage that commonality. Number 3 is, this is definitely a little organizational and managerial prescription. Left to themselves, people can be a little lost. And this is where I think, Shantananda, this is a subject dear to you. Some sort of recommending a certain number of meditations a week without making them regimented, but definitely strongly encouraging. And some sort of engaging, and I will tell you what I'm doing in this, again, from the organizational point of view. The new volunteers who come here with an open mind, to engage them, to just give them, to lay some sort of a foundation of what this place means, would prime them in a good way, because it has happened in the recent past that people came with some ideas, and because they were not chaperoned properly, that either they were disillusioned or just confused. So some sort of a regimented effort from the seniors. I mean, we had the mentor program in place for that very reason, but some sort of a prescription would be very important. And the final point is self-contemplation, because Once you create a fertile ground for people to want to come here, they will derive the benefits out of it, and with an engagement of important dialogues, the idea is to encourage them to contemplate, because at some level this is a very solitary affair. The moksha is a very solitary affair, and the ashram should create a fertile ground for it, but people have to travel their own path, which we should make easier. One thing I will comment upon it, Anna drew upon it using the word flock, and Karuna commented on another aspect of it. You know, from the evolutionary perspective, using the word intelligence is a very committal thing. A lot of these things are put in place as no more than a survival instinct without any active intelligence. The reason why I'm saying this is practical, it's not esoteric. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of the negative connotation of the word flock. Flock, at some level, can mean almost a cheap, unsophisticated wanting to follow the suit and jumping on the bandwagon. That is what flock means. A lot of times, people are flocking to something without any sophisticated investigation of what it is they're trying to do. This is not to be critical, but this ties with what I said earlier. Without some active engagement and sophisticated introspection, people might end up flocking to this place or any other place. Unfortunately, that creates conflicts or less than ideal scenarios from empirical and practical to philosophical. And this is where the prescription that I said, without being regimented, is necessary. Many people want to come here because they want to be tied up in sort of a beautiful community. With proper chaperoning, I think that will happen.
Thank you. I think let's, I'm going to lead us in a short mantra. We did it yesterday, Turiyameva Kevalam. So let's just all roll with that for a minute together. We'll start with it. Let's all Om together. Om. Turiyameva Kevalam together. Turiyameva Kevalam. 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 Let's feel that. Some of you, most of you probably know this, but when I first arrived here and stepped on the ground, 6 months before that, I had been in Vermont planning an overland trip to India for many years. We were going to go. George, who was just here, and another friend, we were in Vermont planning the trip. And we met a psychic who, and I had no belief in anything. If I believed in anything, it was that I didn't believe in anything. So this psychic invited us into his house and gave us incredible pastries and tea, and then said, I want to tell your fortunes. I didn't want my fortune read. I went off to the corner of his living room to sit as far away as I could while he told George and Elon's fortunes. And then he was done with them, and I'm thinking, it's quiet, he's going to leave me alone, thank God. He turns to me and says, come here, sit down. It's like that's what I needed, somebody ordering me around at that point. He puts these beautiful cards out on his table. I had no clue what they were. But he said, you know, your friends were telling me that you're leaving soon, in a month, for 6 months. No, for many years. But my cards say, in 6 months, you're going to be in New York State where you're going to meet somebody who's going to change your life. I was suicidal at the time, and I thought, you're crazy. We go on our trip. We start in London with a good friend of one of the guys. And then we start managing our way across Europe. It was wonderful. And we would split up and come back together. And then finally we all split up and never met again on that trip. George made it to India. He's the only one of us who did. Ilan got to Spain, and that was his heaven, Ibiza. And I ended up in the Mideast, and I felt like I was spiraling downward really quickly, not in good shape. And somebody in Israel said, if you think Israel's hard, you should not go to India. It's 10 times worse or more. And I thought, that's great advice, I'm going home. Got home to my parents' house in New Jersey. They were shocked. What am I doing back? There weren't cell phones. That afternoon, a friend, and I'm sure Guruji or Bhagavan Das was directing this, after thinking about it, friend comes over the next day and said, why, what are you doing back? I'm shocked. And I said, I'm shocked too. And she said, I know a good place. I can take you. It's about an hour and a half from here. And I said, I'm ready. Let's go. She said, I'll pick you up at noon tomorrow. I forgot about Adolphus in Vermont this whole time. I never thought of him again once we went on that trip. Not once. We got about here, we were at the bottom of Harriman Heights Road, and she said, we're getting close. And I said, when we get within 5 minutes, I want to walk the rest of the way. I was having snow in the eyes and wind in the ears. It was 105 degrees out. Doesn't look good. I felt like this was the end. So she said, just walk down Sapphire Road. You'll go in the second driveway. I'll meet you outside the main house. Great. Walking along, I thought I was taking the last steps of my life. Stepped on the ground at the driveway here, out here. Saw Adolphus in his rocking chair, pointing to his wrist, like, notice what day and time it is. It was 6 months to the day. That night, met Guruji for the first time. He said, if you want to stay here, you must study Sanskrit. He drew the line in the sand. And I haven't stopped. And it's grown more and more. And now I feel my dharma is to turn people on. Whoever wants to get turned on to Sanskrit, I want to help them. That's it. And that's where this grew out of. Bringing us together. Sitting together. Supporting ourselves. Supporting each other. Okay, who's next? Jayashree? I can hear it. Yeah, Mike. The mic's way too high. Wait, for everybody.
I'm sorry. So first of all, I want to really thank you for arranging this. This is incredible. It is so invigorating, and it just brings such a great energy here at the ashram. And it's wonderful to see you all, and I'm just, blown away with all the Sanskrit that I need to learn and could learn, and so much more to learn. This is a very good topic, the hope and unity. which we really need here at the ashram. And and I know being on the board, for quite a few years, and being a member and being involved, I really think it's very critical that we create some kind of a mechanism for that. Just like Narenji was saying, is that I feel that, and I totally understand where Narenji is coming from, from the community perspective, and I work with the community, I love community and all that. What I find it's lacking, and we have incredible seniors and elders here. We need to have some unity in them, which I think individually they're wonderful people, and I respect them, they're my mentors, but they seem divided. And so if there's a newcomer or someone, it just feels like this place is not unified. So that's number one. I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm just saying, let's fix that. I'm not one to point fingers at, I always say that I want to be part of the solution. So I think it would help if we can do that. And number two.
Jayshree, can I just say one thing real quick before I forget? I believe that Guruji didn't leave any one person in charge, like to run the place, period. And I think he did that because his feeling would be, you need to be united together.
Yes.
And if you can't do that,
Yes.
how are you going to do any good in the world?
Exactly.
I'm sure of this.
Yeah. And that is why we need that unity very well. And the other aspect I want to talk about is, I am just completely blown away with this beautiful ashram that Guruji has created. And what an incredible planning that he did, that he just, like all these different areas, Sanskrit, music, dance, yoga, scriptures. We have that. What we really need is maybe the Sanskrit can bring them all together, unify them, because newcomers need to understand that we're just more than some kind of resort here. We're a living, breathing, educational, learning environment here. And there is just not one aspect, which is only Sanskrit. It's the music. Like whenever Narenji explains about the music, I'm blown away. I mean, that is incredible depth in the music and the Sanskrit. And so we need to maybe use Sanskrit to unify all these different, aspects of her life, And number three, so therefore I think I agree with Narenji that we need some kind of regimented program for the newcomers as well as people who live here. So there is a path for them to just say, you come here, you work on yourself. We have scriptures, if you like. We have Sanskrit, if you like. We have music, if you like. Whatever you like. But this is the way we improve ourselves. We're all here we're all in the same boat, okay? We have the same problem you do. We're working on it together. So there should be some togetherness in there. And the biggest thing is to really just, and we talk about this every day in the meditation, which is the best thing this ashram has to offer, is let go of your ego. Just drop your ego and work with other people. So what I'm getting at is that this is such a great format that, you have Sanskrit as a unifying format. And we definitely need some kind of like if you go to the Buddhist monastery, they have these gurus or up there, their elders, or there's a way of living that they encourage. And that's that kind of format we need here. And I don't know what unifies us. It could be Sanskrit, it could be dance, but scriptures. But we really need to have that really good program here that for the newcomers to say, how do you work on yourself? How do you work with other people? How do you drop your ego so, we're all into one? I mean, how do you, just basic training like that. We need that, just like Narenji was saying. But I really thank you so much because you are also exploring this language, and it just really, whoever it is, whoever is attracted to it, it's a way of really looking at yourself and really just, it's just incredible knowledge and through scriptures and Sanskrit that we can learn and grow, basically. So I thank you so much for listening. I mean, I hope I didn't mean to lecture, but this is incredibly important right now, the unity in our...
Do you have anything more to say? We're not limiting you.
Huh?
Say more.
I'll say more again later, but
Okay.
I really...
Yeah, and everybody can come back. It doesn't
thank
have
you
to...
so much. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. And for me, it doesn't... I almost would like to stop thinking about Sanskrit's going to be the way. You know who's going to be the way? It's the people here that make the way. We have amazing teachers. Naren sitting there. These two ladies. This one fairly new. That one more long-term. And you can go around Charka, Bharati, Karuna, Tara, every person you look at is another teacher. Guruji didn't, I really feel, he could have stayed in the Himalaya and not bothered. He came here, and overall, he didn't have thousands and thousands of students following him around. He knew who would be coming to him that would have strength and discipline to follow the program. And we all need to jump in and get that culture going. Whatever it takes. We don't want this to fall down. He spent too many years from the 60s building this up. And if you walk outside, the deer, the beaver, the birds, the trees. Indra and I have been to India 9 times. This is the most beautiful place, physically, the most beautiful place on the planet, not to mention the vibration. Okay, who's next? Tara, please.
My mind is a jumble and I'm not a very good speaker. But when I hear the word unity, it brings up the opposites of separation, judgment, negativity. And when I look at myself, I see the path where they take me. I once asked Guru, don't I have to strengthen my ego before I let go of it? And Guruji said, absolutely not. Just drop it, release, whatever. And so, watching my path, I see that identifying with this person, feeling separate, feeling whatever, insulted, criticized, praised, accepting that as reality is really against unity. And so I have to go deeper and see how my engaging in separation and negativity has really not helped my transformation. It's in the way. And so what I feel like for myself, what I need to do is develop more discipline so that I do study Sanskrit every single day. I do meditate for an hour at least in the morning every single day. And I see that there's so much more that I can be gleaning from witnessing and experiencing Sanskrit, which is a way to raise my vibration and feel that I'm part of this great ocean. I think that's enough to say.
Beautiful. Anna, would you lead us in a short mantra, something that you can lead us in? Anything? Short. Doesn't have to be long.
The togetherness mantra. Sahana bhavatu, sahana bhunaktu, saha viryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitam astu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Let's feel that for a moment. You know, in Sanskrit there's a word, yati, means pause. And I love the concept of yati. So like when you're even, om, give a little space, and then nama, and then a little space, because there's something powerful in that yati. That yati is stronger than what you're chanting, most likely. Yeah.
Will you lead us in something and put a big yeti in it?
Yeah, soon. But what was that? The Yati mantra. You'll think of it. Anyway, Yati's powerful. Sabra, can we get you to come up to the mic? I'm not letting anybody out of this room without. You can just say whatever you want. You can say 2 words and...
Taking notes.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I think hope might be the most important thing we have right now. And that we're in a world by ourselves this week or this weekend where we can contemplate the wisdom left to us through Sanskrit from before the Kali Yuga. But in the outside world, the storm is very heavy. And we need the hope for ourselves. And we need the hope so that we can bring that energy outside of here. I sincerely believe that I have had many, many monastic lives before now, and that this is not new to me. But in this lifetime, if I want to resonate the peace that's needed outside, without an ashram, I'm like a clapper without a bell.
Beautiful. Thank you. When Indra and I started teaching about Madonna in 2013, we went together for the first class, and they had about 40 students in that first, this is the Ayurveda school, where they had been through several Sanskrit teachers, like 6 before us, and they all brought the university-style Sanskrit, and they all got chased away very quickly. And then somebody that we met, Indra and I met at a yoga journal conference, Mount Madonna had a table 2 tables down from us. And of course we had a Sanskrit table. So one of their people came up to us and said, "Do you teach Sanskrit?" And said, "Yeah, why?" "Well, we're looking for a Sanskrit teacher at Mount." So we ended up going. And 40 students in one class, that's intense. Some Indians with Devanagari, some in the class that didn't know what Sanskrit was. How do you do this? So after 3 classes, I went to the head of the department and said, "How do you do this?" We got beautiful Indian people with great knowledge of Devanagari, just to begin with, forget about the rest. And people who don't know anything about it. She said, "Just make them love it." Bingo. Like a bell rang in my head. And many of those students, we ended up asking them, why did you come to Ayurveda? Looking for hope. And some of them felt comfortable enough to tell their story. And some of the stories were horrendous. Driven by those stories to come looking for hope. So we're all in this together. And for me, this is the most beautiful place on the planet. And we can create university-style structure to go along with the retreat structure that we all love so much. But one of the answers to unity is when you teach in a university, you don't get too many problems from the students. They're there to get the certificate, to get their degree, and then they want to go. So you get really good students there. And I think we should have certification program here, 6 months where you come to study dance, 6 months where you choose you can come to study music, 6 months you can come to study asana, 3 months, whatever it can be. Of course, Sanskrit is there. And you get those students to come and pay, to come and learn from these incredible teachers, who are all, many sitting in this room. Oh, please. The gift. I'll finish that later. Who's next?
About the certificates, what you said, I also thought it was a beautiful idea. I think, Indra, you had mentioned at some point Sanskrit teacher training.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that concept or seen it anywhere, but I want to sign up. I mean, it's a beautiful idea to also, as you know, to see the ashram as a source of. We're receiving so much knowledge and wisdom and learning. You know, it's a place of learning and growth, and then we can go out, like Tada said, also, and or Jay, everybody has sort of mentioned it. You know, to then we take that with us, but we also bring it into the world. And it's not so much about inside and outside, internal, external, but just sharing and, you know, making. I really resonate with what you're saying. Just make them love it. I'm on board.
If somebody's coming here and they're paying $5,000 for a 6-month course, you think they're going to do anything but study? Of course, they'd have to do some karma yoga. That'd be part of the deal. And they'd have to come to meditation, because we want unity in all of these different certification programs also. We don't just want to have a university here. We want, Guruji talked about the University of Unity. How many different ways did we hear him say that? Oh my God. He's given us a gift. we cannot lose this gift. The gift of the place, the gift of all of us, teachers or non-teachers, I don't care. The gift of everybody who's attracted here. Sharda, please. I see your name on my list. Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Hello. When I think of unity, the first word that came to my mind was oneness from a spiritual point of view. In fact, there's a Hebrew prayer, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. The Lord is one. Listen to the inner self, the nadam, and you will realize that there is oneness in the world. And along with that oneness, the other adjectives come along, which is love and power. That the oneness brings love and the oneness brings power. And that's basically what I have to say. I think the spiritual aspect is the most important aspect of this ashram. The meditation, the experience of the oneness. The Guruji talked about the point, the bindu, the one, and then the nothingness. And that's where we are. Thank you.
Beautiful. And Guruji would talk about Sanskrit. The ashram's not a religion itself. It's a science that includes the highest levels of thinking. And he encouraged every religion to come here. And don't let go of your religion, he would say. Come here and study and practice and add this to your religion, whatever that means. We have a brilliant teacher in front of us. And Bhagavan Das, before him, prepared Guruji and in turn knew that we were coming, I'm sure of it. And we have to hold on to this and make it work. And I will come more and more. And all of you need to do more and more. Lose sleep. Work hard. Make money at your job. But then we need to pour it on here. Jeevani, please, 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 please. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 10 minutes.
Hello, everyone.
And by the way, I know that you're trying to be on silence, but I had to do this.
Thank you. I'm really honored and delighted to be here at Ananda Ashram's World Sanskrit Day conference. And I've heard so many wonderful things, and I love the title of it, Sanskrit Hope and Unity. And I heard so many good things. Shanta mentioned Deven Patel talking about Asha and how hope is often seen as hopeless. And there's a Sanskrit sentence, Twama Ashe Mogha Ashe. Oh, hope, futile hope. And also he told us the etymology of the word Asha, which is, well, direction, essentially direction. So, but here, well, without hope, there's not much on the other hand, because without a dream, without a vision, and hope is part of that, then what will we do? What will happen? So we need this, we need hope. And I've always been a very hopeful person. I hope for the best and I prepare myself for the worst. I don't know if that's healthy, but that's what I do. I first came to this ashram because I was told there is stellar Sanskrit here. And it was true. Bharati Devi became my teacher. I've had some other Sanskrit teachers, but she has been my rock. And we're all students of Bharati Devi, and we're all students of Sri Brahmananda Saraswati, and we're all each other's teachers and students. I love this ashram, and over the decades, I've had different voyages here, passages here. And then, what else did I want to say? Unity is another one of those highly charged words, and Narendra, you expressed it well, and I wouldn't attempt to paraphrase. But also, unity, it comes from the Sanskrit word yuj, we say to yoke. And part of being yujed or yoked is being, as we have been hearing, fettered, bound. But also, without the unity, what then? And Girija, you mentioned the word flock, many connotations to that. Yes, flocking somewhere mindlessly, but also birds of a feather flock together. And here we are. So, and we're not mindless. And I have a lot of hope for the ashram, for us, and for the world. And I think the word that I think of, you asked us, Shanta, is love for this. So there I go, and thank you all.
Jeevani, when you first stepped on the property, off of Sapphire Road onto the land, what happened?
That is not a memory, but I remember being in the main house where so many of you teachers are sitting here today that teach there and come there to practice. It was so long ago, but I remember Bharati Devi, once she took the pointer and was up there in her sari with her blackboard, it was like she had little clouds under her feet. She became very light, and through the years, through the decades, we've all aged. My white hair I didn't always have. She still has that lightness, that, who was it that said the feather point? We've had so many amazing presentations, and Shanta, you'll also give a shout out to Paras and Sarah, and also to David Mellons yesterday, and I've probably forgotten some other people that we haven't mentioned. And
Yeah, no, thank you.
Can
Yeah.
I go now? Thank you.
Sure. Thank you so much. Hey, Seth, can you break away from that chair to come up and talk?
I prefer behind the scenes.
Right, but you can't.
No, that's not an option.
It's not, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Naren.
I mean, for someone who has so many things to say after the fact.
Okay, 3 words only, and then you have to go back. I'm kidding.
Geesh, I wasn't preparing to come up here today. I prefer my spot behind the soundboard and my laptop. But I have very much enjoyed being here immersed for the last 5 days on all these different topics centered around hope and unity. Even yesterday, David Mellons with the Buddhist angle really resonated with me. And what drew me first to this ashram was the central founding philosophy of Advaita Vedanta, because my personal experience and belief is in the non-duality of all things, the oneness of infinity and nothingness all at once, Advaita Vedanta. Sanskrit, for me, I'm not a grammarian. I know very limited vocabulary. I did do 2-month intensive with Bharati last winter, which was very enjoyable. I enjoy chanting, especially when led by somebody and then we all recite back. To me, that's the unity. Music and the harmonies of those mantras resonated in me in a way that all thoughts, negativity, anxiety, neuroses, they drop away in the moment. So when we chant on and on and on, it's beautiful, and I love experiencing that here on an almost daily basis. And thank you, Shanta, for allowing me to be such a big part of these conferences. It's been amazing for me. And I look forward to working with you more. And in November, another brainstorming session. And Anna has been amazing as helping me in all things, assisting with the production of this. Naren, music, and the presentation, and the hyperbole yesterday with the orders of magnitude. And Andrea, thank you for your aura and goodwill. So thank you to the ashram, Tara, Cami, Jeevani, Vidya, Sharada, who I just met, Jayashri, of course. So I said I didn't have anything to say and I rambled on, but thank you.
Thank you for rambling on. It was great. Is there somebody back there? The light's too bright for me to see. There's something back there. No? Cami, we need you to come up. It can be 2 words or more. You know how sometimes they say 3 words or less, 2 words or more.
Namaskar, everyone. You know, as I was coming here, crossing the path, I said to myself, I'm coming to the panel discussion of the Sanskrit. I was expecting all the teachers to come and summarize their discussion, not what I walked into, but it's very beautiful, I have to say. Yes, this place is truly a wonderful place. And I will always, always, always have gratitude to Sri Brahmananda Saraswati, wherever I am, whenever, wherever. I will always have it because coming in from Hinduism and from a very religious family and coming here, I was introduced to Advaita Vedanta. I knew of it and all of that, but when I say introduced, I meant like every morning, every evening, meditation. And after morning meditation, Sanskrit, which I have learned a lot from Bharati also, I have to say. And I've continued that learning through the Arya Spiritual Center and Dartmouth College, so I'm still there with the Sanskrit. The only bad part is I'm being forced to learn Hindi now, and I don't want to mix the 2 up. Anyway, I was reading something from Sri Brahmananda Saraswati just a few days ago. I was cleaning out my library and I came over this paper. And the topic is, why are we here? He talked about a lot of things, spiritual, scientific, even mentioned the 2 birds sitting on a tree, and which we all know from the Upanishads. But the conclusion is that the real reason we are here is to learn from each other and to remember that the only way that we can really function is through unity, which I see on the board. It's to solve problems that will lead us to this unity. And that's what I got from the very last paragraph of that paper. I can say that it's a beautiful word, it has a lot of meanings, but we can talk from now to eternity about unity. But it wouldn't mean a thing if we do not have it in our hearts, in our minds, to express it through our actions, our thoughts, our words. Because the unity is not something coming from the ego that we can say and it'll fix things. It's how we conduct ourselves and what we put out there that manifests and blends with the other person that will promote unity. In my vocabulary, that's what it is.
When did you come the first time? What year, roughly?
I came in 2001. Pandit Ramlal brought me here. He came to my house to do a havan 7 minutes down the road. And when he was finished, he said to me, okay, you can give me a lift to the ashram. And so I said, Pandit, this is Monroe. And he said, I know this is Monroe, we're going to the ashram. I said, there's no ashram in Monroe. And so in the traditional Indian way, he goes, just sit in the car and I'll show you. I didn't take too nicely to that, just sit in the car and I'll show you. But, I sat in the car, I drove, and he directed me, and we came here. And we drove in. The first person I saw was Bharati. And I said, oh, so this is the ashram. And I looked around, and please don't take this in a negative way, anybody. I said, oh, a white woman in a white sari. And she was so nice and sweet, and together they had such a rapport, the two of them, and started talking about way, way back that I knew nothing of. But from that one day, I never left. And Bharati, of course, has been the main teacher. She taught me a lot. I acclimated to her. It's because of her that I got so much into Sanskrit. So that's another thing to be grateful about, and I always will be. So, did I answer your question?
You did great. There's no answer.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I just want to close by saying that it's a very valuable thing that you have started here, Shantananda. Every year, it's like an infusion, an injection, like, do not forget Sanskrit. Here it is, staring you in the face. You cannot get away from it, which is really good and which we really need.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Seth, good talk. All right, namaste, everyone.
Naren, yeah.
I'm going to take the liberty of indulging in my sense of humor. I'm going to say one sentence. When Cami said the unity on the board, I compliment on her choice of preposition, on and not in. Thank you.
I always wonder about which one to, in many situations, in the ashram, on the ashram, in the country, it kills me to know which one to use. Thank you, Naren. Do you remember that Yeti thing?
No.
Okay. How about if you lead us in some mantra? Okay. Don't. Who else here can lead us in a short mantra? Leading us, call and response. Karuna. Karuna would be nice. And you can even come up and lead us. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. But do you get up and then we'll have, yeah, come to the mic. And then Karuna, you'll come up and lead us.
So my question is to the panel. I already gleaned an answer to my question from Shanto, but I want to hear everybody else's response. And my question is, how has Sanskrit changed your life?
Troublemaker.
What comes to mind is I remember speaking with a colleague. So I work in book publishing. That's my full-time. I have a full-time job. I have my own company. I work very hard. Like Shanta said, we make our money in the real world outside. And I remember having a talk with a colleague and talking about Sanskrit. And when I talk about Sanskrit, I can't help it, but I just get very enthusiastic. And she said, "Oh, it's so nice you have this hobby. What a nice hobby." And the moment she said it, I realized it was the other way around. I realized Sanskrit is my life and everything else is hobby.
Who said that to you?
A colleague.
Oh.
Yes. But it was like something dropped, realization that I go about my job, I do my everyday life, but really what matters is this.
Yeah, Indira uses that quote, feather at the... No, pivot point, the feather at the pivot point. Like something very hardly noticeable feather in a word that drops like that. Yeah, that's cool. That's wonderful.
Indira also said that your son Krishna he was into soccer a lot when he was a teenager, and he had a T-shirt. Do you remember what the T-shirt slogan was?
Life is soccer.
Yeah, soccer is
or
life.
Soccer is life, yeah.
The rest is just... Do you remember what it was?
I think we can all probably think of the word, what it would be.
The rest is just,
Just as, that's...
secondary. But, so I think we should for next year, we can have the T-shirt. Sanskrit is life.
That'd be great, yeah. Yeah. We have T-shirt coming next year for this, yeah, for sure.
It's going to say Sanskrit is life.
You know, although somebody of a German origin now residing in Spain, the use of word soccer is a little disappointing.
I made that translation in my head. Oh yeah, it's totally football, but I was looking at Shanta, so I said it in his language.
Yeah, I get it. I have been scolded about that word many times. It's like, I can't help it. We grew up with soccer. Karna, you're just in time.
Before I chant something, I love Vidya's question. How has Sanskrit changed your life? So I really resonate with that. So many things. Being rather self-conscious and introverted somewhat as a younger person, or even, earlier on, my 20s when I met Guruji. So, for one thing, to digress, one time I heard Rup Verma Rupji say, he said, I can never be lonely because I have my sitar, And for me, I think Sanskrit is like that, although sometimes I forget it, or have forgotten. But it's such a tool, it's such a vehicle for occupying the mind, uplifting the mind, so that with my harmonium, because I love the music, they go together so beautifully, the Sanskrit with the music, musicality. So anytime the mind is restless or down, in a down condition, if one can muster the discipline to sit down and start, there's so much, and it can just transform the contents, as Guruji said, as using Sanskrit as a psychotherapy, treatment for the mind, so it can just transform the energy, uplift. But so I have to admit that to do more, to bring the mind up. Another thing that comes to mind is when Guruji left the body in 1993. Afterwards, Bharati said to me, why don't you offer Bhagavad Gita, like once a week for the program? And even that time I was quite self-conscious. So it's been a journey, as people have mentioned, the journey to have the ego drop away, at least some part of the ego, some part of it. So I started to do that, and I was busy. I was working as a nurse, and I had 3 children. So every week I would know if it was Wednesday morning, Tuesday night, or sometimes only Wednesday morning, I'd sit down at the harmonium and think, what am I going to present? I have to at least. And after doing that, doing the program once a week, I was like, this is so, has helped my mind, has uplifted me so much. I should do this more often. Then the next week, the same thing would happen, the night before. I'm like, I should do this. So that went on for quite a while. But I'm grateful to be somewhat retired. But I still manage to keep pretty busy. So how has Sanskrit transformed your life? It's just a beautiful method. Those things sound so mechanistic, or a beautiful vehicle like a Garuda, the eagle, to give the mind something positive to do when it's in if it's in a good condition, even more so, go higher. If not, so thank you for letting me share that. Thank you.
Can I contribute one sentence to that, Karuna? Can I contribute a sentence?
Certainly.
After a certain age, the neurons start decaying. And therefore, their rejuvenation becomes an important subject. It's basically called neuroplasticity. One thing that is universally prescribed now to reverse or at least impede the advancement of neuroplasticity is learning a new skill after the age of even 40. That's how early it can start. Mathematics, physics, something rigorous, you can actually take a test for yourself and try to pass it. So it is absolutely prescribed to achieve the effects of neuroplasticity. Studying Sanskrit, and especially the sutras of Panini, I think can be an invaluable aid in sharpening one's mind. And these are just the biological benefits. Spiritual benefits I haven't even addressed yet, but we all know what they are.
Yeah, Indira often, if she gets depressed or down, she won't even go to the Sanskrit bhakti work. She goes to Panini because it's away from all the things that you begin to imagine when you're chanting certain things. So no, Naren, that makes a lot of sense for you to touch on that, yeah.
So just one verse that came into my mind from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 6. So, 6, dhyana yoga. Abhyasa, dhyana, same thing.
You'll call and response, yeah?
Okay. Yam labdva cha param labham. Yam labdva cha param labham. Manyate nadikam tata.
Manyate
nadikam tata. Yasmin stito nadhukena.
Yasmin stitau na dukkena
Gurunapi vichalyate. Gurunapi vichalyate. Yam labdva cha param labham. Having attained that, loose translation, having attained to that wherein one thinks that there is nothing higher to attain. That supreme peace, sense of this is it or something. Yam labdva cha param labham manyate nadikam, that there is nothing higher than that. Yasmin stito nidhukena, and established in which even the greatest, the heaviest sorrow, one is not moved. Vichalyate, you think? Moved? one is not, one can tolerate even the heaviest sorrow. So it's something to think about. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's just sit for a minute, feel all that. The yati. Thank you all so much. It's been a wonderful weekend. Seth, were we going to play that piece? Yeah, can we do that now? Can't hear you.
She says that I never mentioned anything about how Sanskrit has changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And then after conclusion, the concluding verse is chanted where there is absolute dedication to God. God is everything. God is Father, God is Mother, God is Guru, God is learning, God is wealth. Everything that is anywhere is God, and there is nothing, no other entity than God available anywhere, here or there or everywhere. Om Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhush Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. Oh, thank you.